Hello and welcome to the latest episode of Pedz Game Shack. It's been a long while since the last one, but they will still be going. They will carry on. It just might not be every 2 weeks like I planned. But anyway, we have a returning guest, Aaron. How you doing?
Hello. I'm good, thank you. I'm good. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm well. I'm just tired, but I'm always tired. Because that's just me.
You are recording this at 10:40 p.m. To be fair.
Yeah, that is true, but it's not so bad for you because it's like what?
Oh yeah, I'm 6 hours behind you, so it's 4:40 p.m. So I'm fine.
Then again, at 4:40 p.m., I'd probably still be tired.
Tired is life. There is nothing else.
Exactly. You been up to much? Been up to much at all?
Not loads in terms of what I've been playing. I've been all over the shop. I mean, obviously, playing what we're discussing later today. Earlier, I was checking out Sonic Adventure, just reliving my youth a little bit. That was as janky as I remember it being as an 11-year-old. Kind of fun. Been playing that Crab Souls game. That's good. Enjoying that a bit. What about yourself? What's been on your rotation?
Honestly, I haven't really played a lot of games on my own. The majority of stuff I've played has been with the missus. So we've played up quite a bit. We've played Suika Game, or Suika Game, however you pronounce
What's
it.
What's the multiplayer in that like? My partner is addicted to the Suika game.
Well,
we have it on Switch, but she usually plays the mobile version, but she does like the Switch version.
I prefer the Switch version personally. But the Switch version
is more fun in that, yeah.
Yeah, the multiplayer, there's 3 modes. There's Versus, which is just the normal game where
match the fruits to,
you just
to clear space ahead of the other person. Cool.
Exactly, yeah. And the winner is whoever has the highest score.
Okay.
Like, it's not who goes out first. If you go out first and you still got highest score, you win.
Okay, yeah, because I guess it's you just play your own game, right? There is no time constraint in the original game, so it's not like Tetris, because you can choose when to drop your thing. Cool.
Yeah. Then there's the second mode, which is 5-minute mode, which there's again is whoever finishes with the highest score. But the fruit drop automatically if you take too long. And by the time you get to like the last 30 seconds, they like coming down pretty fast. Like,
That's cool.
That's tricky. But the mode I play most when we start is because I tend to win that mode because the missus tends to destroy me otherwise. Is the attack mode. Basically, I think it's 5 or 6 fruits. When you combine 5 or 6 different fruits, whatever that last combination is, so say you could combine 2 melons for a watermelon, and that's the 6th one you do, or the 5th one you do, then you're able to drop a watermelon on the other person's play area.
Okay, so that's pretty cool.
What I'll do is I'll wait till an opportune time to either drop a part. You can either just leave and it'll fall back and forward, fall on its own, or you can press like X, I think it is, and it'll drop when you press the button. So what I tend to do is either drop keep my eye on her side to drop a fruit in an awkward position where it blocks her from putting a fruit that she was just about to put down. Or I'll wait till there's a piece that's quite high and then drop a bigger fruit so that touches the edge, the top, and just knocks it straight out, and I win.
That's very good. Yeah. I
feel like such a dick.
It was a cool free update to add, but I haven't played it.
It's not free. It's not free.
Oh, is it not? I think I paid for it then. Never mind. But
it was like £1 odd. I mean, £2.
Sounds worth it. So well, I should play it at least once to get my money's worth, because I do think I just bought it when it was released and never touched it. And probably why I thought it was free.
Yeah, probably. I went on the game and like the multiplayer was there. I was like, oh, there's a multiplayer option. Okay. And then you had to buy it, so I did. But it's been good fun. I still can't beat her score though. She's got like 3,200 or something, 3,100 and something. And my highest is like 2004, 2005 maybe.
My partner's got a pretty good score as well. I can probably find out for you.
I haven't had a watermelon.
She's got 2 watermelons on the screen before.
Oh, nice. They didn't combine?
They do not combine. No, they just take up a load of space, which does lead me to believe when you look at like the leaderboards of like how are these people getting like 99999 or whatever? Because it feels like it's impossible once watermelons start.
Yeah. I assumed they combined and something would happen, like they'd fuck off. I guess not.
Yeah, her best score is 3,447. So it sounds like she's also knocking around. Maybe we should get our our partners to play each other.
That would be fun.
Yeah. Battle of the real squeakers.
Especially the battle mode, just because it angers people.
Yeah. I feel like the other 2 modes, my partner would beat me, but the second you start bringing in those like 1 extra tactic, that's where she's going to fall apart.
Yeah, exactly. Especially
and that's what you're aiming for. You just want to get your partner to just fall apart in front of you and
exactly. That's the good thing is like like my missus now. She'll build up a thing, so she'll have like a column of things ready to like get one fruit that'll then combine into another fruit and do another. And then I'll go, nah, fuck that. I'm dropping a fucking pear on top of that and killing you.
You have to change up your tactics when it comes to stuff like that. Which my partner's he's not very good at. Like she gets stressed at video games quite easily. Didn't grow up playing them, and I think the second you start putting in like 2 analog sticks or multiple things to do, then she'll check out. So she couldn't, for instance. I don't think she would do very good at all at Warhammer 40,000 Shootas, Blood and Teeth.
No,
it's not a game for her. But was it a game for you?
Honestly, yes. Yes, it was.
Oh, good. Nice. I think it was probably a game for me as well. Yeah. So, I mean, for anyone that doesn't know, it's a 2-dimensional side-scrolling, I would say, action shooter, kind of in the Contra vein, except it has dual analog. You're aiming where you shoot with the right stick and shooting with the right trigger. It's very much one of those, but it's a good one of those, I think.
Wait, are you saying Contra, aka Probotector, is not a good one of those?
No, it is one of those. Like Contra is a good one of those. as is Shootas, Blood and Teeth, I think.
Yeah, it's different to them though, in the sense of Shootas, Blood and Teeth it's less run and gun than Contra. That makes sense. Okay. Like Contra is more you need to fucking keep moving, I guess.
This genre is not really my wheelhouse. So I wouldn't know overly. Let's see what genre Wikipedia says it is.
Action platforming with shooting elements, mostly shooting elements. But I didn't.
Run and gun. It does say it's a run and gun platform video game.
Oh well.
You don't necessarily need to run as much.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like Contra. Most enemies die with one shot. It's bullet hell. You die quickly. That's what I'm used to with like run and gun. This is frenetic, but not quite so
instant death. You have a health bar. It's moderately generous. It's for the record, I was playing on normal difficulty. I did check out hard at the end of the game and felt like that was very manageable with my knowledge and all the guns I had unlocked. But throughout the game, I was playing normal. And we were both, for the majority of it, playing single player, which I think we should call out because this is a game that is very much, I think, made with co-op in mind. Probably 4-player co-op really would likely be the ideal, they would say. That said, I still had a very good time playing it single player. I think the difficulty balance is good. The action, the moment to moment action is decent enough to keep you going. It's not, I guess the nature of these games are that they can be quite samey, but I think they do a good job of mixing it up with a different weapons you can unlock and the areas and the enemies you're fighting. And maybe we should talk a little more on that latter part, because this is a Warhammer game. So it looks like that it's just dripping with Warhammer 40,000 references. So if you're a fan of that, it looks like you would get a lot out of this game.
Yeah.
They all went completely over my head. I don't know what a Gene Stealer is. I don't know who the Imperial what's its names are. A killer can.
I know some stuff, but not a lot. I was really into Warhammer Fantasy when I was in my teens, young teens, late 90s. But when I started getting to 40K, I kind of just didn't get into as much. I was doing Dark Angels, which are Space Marines with black armor. At least they used to be. I don't know if they still exist in the Warhammer 40K universe, because it's been such a long time. But that was cool, and a couple of my friends were doing like Ultramarines, and someone else was doing Eldar and stuff. So I know some of the stuff, but not a lot. Like when we were mentioning in the group chat, Lewis D is one of the people in that chat and was explaining what certain things are, and then showing images of like the size differences and the figures and stuff, or models. And that was really cool.
He seemed very excited at us just being like, what's this thing? And he was like, well, this thing is that thing's dreadnought class, and this means da-da-da. And I'm just like, okay, cool, just awkwardly sitting there with a thumbs up.
I thought you could say a thumb up your arse then.
I will say that not knowing Warhammer did not hamper my enjoyment of this. Actually, I did try to get into Warhammer as a kid. I had a couple of friends that were into it. I had one friend that was very into it, used to like painting the models, and I bought a Space Marine starter set, and I decided to do the like blue and yellow, the blue ones with a yellow trim, because I like that look. And
Ultramarines.
Are those them? Cool. And I, spent my weekend painting them for the first time and do it all right. And I thought I was quite happy with the outcome. And then my friends saw them. We must have been about 12, 13. My friend saw them and he was like, yeah, I guess it's like okay for a first try, I suppose. And that really demoralized me, and I never touched it again. And I never played with them, never bothered playing the game. Years later, in our 20s or whatever, he admitted that I painted it really fucking well, and he was really jealous that I had done it so well on my first try. That he was just jealous about it and didn't want to admit that. Hey, look at that. There's a multiverse version of me where I went off and got really into 40K. Maybe he did me a favor, because it is an expensive hobby. Yeah.
Yeah, it is rather pricey, but it is cool as fuck. That's the thing with
no, they look great. Like, I don't really want to play it, but I do like just painting them.
Yeah, my painting was awful, and I was mainly doing, like I said, fancy stuff. So I was doing Skaven, which were like rat people. So I was just like, it's really badly painted.
That feels representative of you, Pedz.
Yeah, I'm definitely a rat bastard. But yeah, I enjoyed playing like the tabletop game, because I actually did play a fair few games of Warhammer. But whether we stuck to the rules properly or not, I don't know. I can't remember. It's been a while, but
like you said, those like Warhammer looks amazing, and I think that's a good segue into chatting about the looks of this game, because I don't necessarily mean this in a bad way, but then I sort of do at the same time. This is going to date us a lot, but it feels very Newgroundsy to me. It feels like I'm playing a Flash animation game that you'd go on miniclip.com and load up Alien Hominid, which and there's something about this art style, that kind of Flash animation. It looks fine. It looks perfectly serviceable, but because I am a certain vintage, and I wonder if the generation below us just wouldn't have this association and thus wouldn't care. Because I'm of a certain vintage, to me, it just feels a little cheap looking, because it looks like one of those flash animations like Homestar Hero or whatever. Do I mean that? No, I mean like I can't remember who I mean, but that style.
No, I get you completely.
It's not bad, and it's perfectly serviceable. It does give it a more cartoony feel than I was expecting.
I think it suits. I don't know why, because the orcs seem to be quite dumb and
as you can probably tell
kind of fun. Like really fun.
This follows, So story wise, you are playing as an orc.
What
and
is
you are
Snig? Swig?
Yeah.
Swizz?
I don't know if he is. I don't know if he's an actual character in the lore or whatnot, but you're just seemingly playing as a random orc. That and it's played for laughs. Another orc steals his little ponytail that he has, and he goes on this massive campaign to get his little hat back. On the way, destroying the Empire's fleet and the Gene Stealer, killing the Gene Stealer patriarch, and blah blah blah. And like you said, I think because it's played for laugh, the cartoony style does work with it. And as I said, I'm not necessarily holding the looks against it. I think it launched at $20, did it?
No idea.
Years back, my brief research suggested it was at least a budget release. Like this wasn't a full price release. And
no, definitely not.
Yes, and it's you can get it for about $10. I think. So I'm not marking against it. I just think it's because I am my generation.
Yeah,
that style animation just looks cheap to me.
Yeah, it does. I think it suits this. I think with the orc, it suits it more than if it was like a Space Marine game. Like if you look at Warhammer 40K Space Marine, it's a very different kind of game. It's 3D. It's like kind of gritty. It's an Unreal Engine. You got a chainsaw sword, brutal as fuck. This is pretty brutal, but it's a lot more realistic looking, which I think suits that more than this game. I think is more suitable to that lower budget look. But have you played? I didn't realize the developer of this game made Guns, Gore, and Cannoli, and Guns, Gore, and Cannoli 2. It's a very similar kind of shooting game. I played through the second one with Jasm. I don't know if I played the first one with Jasm or not, or I just played it on my own. But it's basically a similar kind of game, except for the fact
Roaring 20s shooter.
It's a Roaring 20 shooter, and there's all zombies and shit in there. It's fucking great. Good fun. Genuinely a good game.
I wondered what else this developer had done. It's also quite reminiscent of like your Castle Crashers from the early 360 days in terms of the art style. So
Castle Crashers is ace.
Yes, yeah. It has a similar flash animation look because those were the guys who made Alien Homeworld.
Yeah, I think Guns, Gore, and Cannoli was out on the 360. Maybe I'm not sure about the second one though. I'm not sure if that was 360 or Xbox One / PlayStation 4.
I'm seeing PS4 boxes for that. So yeah,
it is a fun game, and I really enjoyed it.
I like the different weapons. I like that you have your 5 gun classes like pistol, machine gun, heavier like flamethrower-y stuff, and a rocket launcher. And within each of those classes, there are 3 to 4 different feeling versions of that, and we both gravitated towards our own ones. We did give it a go in co-op towards the end.
Yes.
You unfortunately didn't get to use the guns you liked because you had to start again to play with me because we were on different platforms. But it did sound like
I'd be annoyed if it's crossplay and I didn't know about it.
Yeah, well, hopefully it wasn't, because otherwise you wasted some money and time. But yeah, I like we both had our different guns that we liked. Pistol wise, I was really a big fan of the revolver. You had 6 bullets. You had to reload them one at a time. But if you hit a headshot, it basically one shot all the grunts, 2-shotted harder enemies, and really stripped bosses' health. you liked the laser pistol, which set people on fire and didn't
Yeah, that was
have
cool.
ammo.
It was a plasma pistol.
Yeah, it could just overheat and set you on fire if it did.
Yeah, that happened a few times when I was playing Mew.
Yeah, and similarly, there's some fun ideas as well. Like I quite liked the laser shotgun, which had all the lasers bounce off the walls and things.
Yeah,
so
that was handy.
Nice.
That was good for crowd control.
Yeah, good crowd control stuff. There are different character classes as well, and it sounded like we played as different characters. I was the beast handler who threw. I think the only difference between the classes is the melee attack and the grenades they get.
Yeah.
So the grenades for the beast handler, he throws a little beastie that looks annoyingly like the health pickup, which is also a little beastie. So that was always confusing me. But that's nice because the enemies will attack the little beasties. And the animal handler's melee attack is he throws a spear. It's not a melee attack. He throws a spear that then explodes, and it felt so overpowered. Like it felt like you were getting one over on the game. I always like that when you find things in games that it feels like, oh, I'm clever.
It did seem pretty good.
Destroyed boss shields. Like I know you were like, oh, the plasma pistol stripped shields off. And I was like, I didn't need to worry about that because I had a thing that just did it for me. So I could strip the shields off and then do that, and then use my shooter or whatnot. And you use like I think it was called Flash Git.
Flash Git, which is fair. I am a bit of a git. I'm not very flash-like, but you know.
So yeah, what was his grenades?
The grenades for the Flash Git was a cluster grenade. So obviously, for those who don't know what a cluster grenade is, you throw it, it goes boom, and then lots of little booms come out too. The first game I remember playing with a cluster grenade was Worms.
Yes, yeah. Worms did a lot to increase my knowledge of various weapons.
I've never seen a banana bomb in real life, though.
Well, yeah. What was his melee attack, by the way?
The melee attack was just where you would just slam your weapon.
Okay, normal melee attack, but then he had a special dash, was it?
He had a special dash. His dash was longer, and any enemies you dashed through would catch fire. It wouldn't do it every time, but it would do most of the time, especially like
and you could just
smaller
dash
enemies.
Forwards through them anyway if you wanted.
Dash through them and set them on fire. It's great.
That's really nice, and I think each class seems to have a thing that feels like, oh, this is a nice big advantage.
And one thing I will say is with that dash, because it was longer than the normal dash you get with other classes. Like when you're trying to avoid enemy attacks or like bosses that dash at you, if you jump once and then dash, you'll dash way past them, so you get like a bigger distance from them. It's handy.
It's a cool mechanic as well.
Yeah, so that's why I liked it. It came across as a useful tool in my ultimate destruction of everything in my path. One of my favorite moments of the game, though, I will say, is is one of the bosses where he's like, "I am Lord blah blah blah, son of whoever," and then goes on this massive tirade, and then you cuts to your orc who's just sleeping, and he's like, "What?"
It's a classic trope for a reason, Pedz, isn't it?
Yeah, I know, but it was
funny every time.
It was funny.
No, it was funny. It was funny. It was funny. Like I said, it's moderately obvious humor and jokes. Like it's a stupid guy, blah blah blah. But it works.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I think it captures. I was playing with you, and I was like, "Is Warhammer 40,000 British?" Because they keep using like Britishisms. Like the word "git" is used quite a lot, which I've never heard anyone else. I don't know. It has a sort of a Terry Pratchett-esque vibe.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he calls one of the bosses like "you pointy-headed git."
Like, what? Well, every time when he gets hurt, every now and then he's like, "Ow, that hurt you, git," which I quite enjoyed.
Yeah.
Or like, "Come on, you gits," when you activate war mode, which you build up a meter, you click the 2 sticks, and you basically get your gun reloads and fires really quickly for a little while, and you don't need to worry about the ammo, which which
Yeah.
paired very nicely with that 6-shooter, I'll tell you that much, for stripping bosses' health off.
Most of the time, I started using the rocket launcher I had, because it shoot things, do damage, and then it stick to them, and then explode and do more damage. And it done a fucking lot. The final boss taking down his shields would literally be like 3 of those rockets, four or 5, not 3. 3's a little. 4 or 5 shots with that, and it'd be fucked. Problem is, it's slow.
Yeah. But that's what I think the cool thing about this game is that there's lots of options and moments of like, oh, and then if you use this and do this with it, it's actually really good for that. And I opted the other way. Like, I liked to take the final boss's shields off with my spear thing, throw a few of them, and then by that time I'll probably have my war back, and then swap to the 6-shooter and pop that near him, and or if that was a little inaccurate possibly at times, so I'd maybe swap to like the that really fast firing gun that takes a while to charge up, but if you do war mode on that, it just immediately goes really quickly and fires for ages.
That's one of the things I found in this game is, like, for the most part, I stuck to the same weapons.
Everything's viable.
But for some sections, I found it a little difficult, and I did, like, that minigun, basically. I did use that for like one section of the game.
Yeah.
And then went back to what I was using before, because I found it really handy in certain parts.
Yes, totally. Like, I wouldn't say that the game does a great job at encouraging you to do different weapons, but there are one or two times when you're like, I'm really struggling with this boss or section. You might want to just have a look at your loadout and be like, oh, if I just use the electric shocker, then everything rushing me just like dies.
Yeah, exactly.
And on that note as well, I think the bosses are actually pretty decent. It's sort of like what I've come to refer in recent years is like the Metroid Dread style of, like, once you start a boss and it seems really hard, but you only need to play it a couple of times to get their move patterns down, and actually then it's really easy once you learn their moves. But it feels really good to, like, like within a couple of attempts to be like, oh, that move is really messing me up that he does, but I figured out a way to stop it.
I wonder. I didn't play it on hard difficulty myself. Apart from that brief stint of co-op with you, and then you was like, "Oh, we'll change it normal because you only have one gun."
Yeah. And that was the point. Like, when I tried on hard, it actually felt fine because I knew the enemies, I knew how to deal with them, and I had every gun that I could want. Yeah. Whereas I do think it will be a little tougher if you do have to start with the pistol. But if you like, I would say it was a pretty easy for me on normal. Like, it was a nice challenge, but I didn't want to spend too long on this style of a game. I don't enjoy bashing my head against a game like this too much. I would say I died a couple of times on bosses here and there. There were definitely a few moments where I had to, like, retry and learn things. I think if you do like this game and you do like that, I think hard mode would be a very nice challenge.
Yeah. Me, I was happy with normal, but what I was going to say is, Joe, the bosses on normal, you get health pickups relatively regularly.
Yes.
So you get them fairly often. Like the final boss, for example, you get it really quite rapidly. You get health pickups. My thought is on hard, I wonder if you get less, because I was going to say, how far did you get when you tried it? Did you fight a boss to see what the health pickups are like?
A boss. No, I didn't actually. I jumped through a few different levels, but I forgot to try a boss. I would imagine I could see them lowering it. I did find that I had to quite plan around the health pickups in normal. Like, I was needing them. So yes, hard probably. If it did lower the health pickups, that would make that harder.
Yeah, agreed. Obviously, I played the game over, like, I started playing it over a week ago, and I played it like a little bit at a time. You went through it fairly quickly though, didn't you?
Yeah, so I sort of bashed it out in 2 sessions. I'm not sure how long. Yes, very good. How long I spent on the game overall. Okay, so Steam here says I've played for 6.6 hours. And that includes an hour I played with you. yesterday. So I probably got through it in about 5.5 hours then.
Yeah, which isn't too bad. It's like, for the cost of the game and the type of gamer it is, I think 5 hours is perfectly serviceable.
Yeah.
So, and there is more modes. There's obviously the co-op, which isn't a different mode, but it might be more fun to play through it again with someone else. But there's also a versus mode, which I didn't try.
Oh yeah, I didn't either. I'm not sure that would appeal to me too much in this style, but that could have been. I could imagine it being a fun combat.
It's probably just, I wonder what it is. I wonder if it's just like, I don't know, a Smash Brothers style arena and you just got to shoot each other.
I will say there isn't too much replay value in the story. Like,
no.
I don't necessarily want to go back through the game again with you. And we brought up Castle Crashers earlier, and I remember that actually having a little bit more replay value in, I think that every different colored knight had an associated level. And
yeah, every knight had its own level.
Yeah, and I wonder if maybe I don't. Yeah, I'm stopping myself from saying this because not every game needs RPG mechanics, but I'm sick in the head and I like seeing numbers go up. And I don't think that you should shove RPG mechanics into everything. And it's quite nice that there is a game that hasn't done that. But there's still part of me that guiltily is like, but if I could level up, I'd keep playing it because the numbers would go up.
Well, that's the thing with Castle Crashers. Every knight has their own levels. On top of that, every knight has their own special ability, which you can improve. So, technically speaking, it is slightly different to play as every single character. And obviously, there was DLC characters, like you get to play as the king and a different kind of knight. If you had the Alien Hominid HD on your 360, you also unlocked Alien Hominid as a character on Castle Crashers.
Oh, cool. Well,
which is what I played as.
Yeah, so lots of reasons to replay that, but I'm not saying that they need to rejig. It would be better if it had RPG mechanics, but I think because we just live in this world now where you're leveling up everything, there was a part of my brain that just felt like it was missing it, but I hesitate to put that forward as a criticism because I think it's me that's wrong here.
Yeah, I think it is. I don't think
like it doesn't need, like, not every game needs replay value. You can play it through once and have a nice time. That's cool.
I think for me to replay it again, it would be if a few people like, hey, do you fancy playing through it? And the good thing is you can play through it with a couple of different people and have different experiences.
Yeah,
that
like
way.
If 3 other people were like, do you want to give 4-player co-op a go? I would jump back in for an hour. But I did find myself zoning out a little during our co-op playthrough, Pedz. Nothing to do with you, just because I was like, I've done all this.
Yeah.
Like there's, I've done this. They've done it before. Yeah, cool. It's the same. But you're here now. Oh, and I will say, I think the respawn mechanic in co-op is kind of cool. If you can respawn whenever you want, you just take half the other person's health, and you get that half of health. Yeah. So if you were on half health and I died and I respawned, I would respawn on a quarter health, and then you would go down to a quarter health. Yeah. And we quickly realized that the best way to game the system is wait until the alive person was next to a health pickup, then respawn, then get the health pickup, because you both get the health from a health pickup. So that's the maths way of dealing with that. Yeah,
it was handy at one point where we were both really low on health because I was respawning all the time before we realized.
Yeah, and also if you are on like 1 health and the other person respawns, it won't lower the health. So
so just keep fucking respawning as quick as you can.
We were on 1 hit, so you can kind of keep 1 person back and send 1 person in, and then they can keep trying to do the thing on like 1 hit or try and find a health. Which is another way of cheesing it. But again, it's always fun when it feels like you're getting 1 over on a game.
Yeah. But I honestly would, for people who haven't played this game, I would recommend picking it up when it's on offer, give it a bash. You will enjoy it.
If you, I would say if you like, the run and gun genre, you will like this. If you are a Warhammer fan and like the run and gun genre, you will really like this. And I think the aforementioned mutual friend Lewis D, this would be right up his alley.
Yeah, agreed. I don't know if I prefer this to Guns, Go and Cannoli simply because I played them so long ago. I'm not even sure if I played both or just one. I can't remember. My memory's awful. It was a long while back.
That looks like it has a very fun theme and vibe that is ever so slightly, and Warhammer fans don't come for me, ever so slightly more unique than, future space war.
This is kind of like future space war with also Earth creatures that have got. It's not just humans. It's like orcs, which were on.
Well, yeah, it's okay. Like fantasy. Like I think inherently Warhammer 40K is interesting because it's future fantasy. But I think if you're looking at the run and gun shooter genre, and you looked at Shooters, Blood and Teef, and you looked at Gore, Guns and Cannoli, it's the latter that is, I think, more unique within this genre, because you don't get many Roaring Twenties gangster style Tommy Gun-esque, and that's the one that I would probably, if you had given me a choice of these two and said which one do you want to play, I'd probably go for GG and C.
Well, maybe one day GG and C is what we'll head to. But I'm pretty sure the first game's the 20s, the second game is like 30s, 40s. I think it's a different time, as in decade.
Cool way of doing it.
Yep. I don't think there's a Guns Go Cannoli 3, unfortunately. I don't know what other games they've made, the company, but the 3 games I've played by them have been really, really fun, so...
Yeah, it looks like that this is very much their wheelhouse.
Another really good run and gun game.
I'm necessarily... Sorry, Pedz, I was just going to say I'm not necessarily champing at the bit to see what they put out next, if you know what I mean. Like these
that's fair.
Great, serviceable games. Cool.
Yeah. Very. I really enjoyed myself with it, but I kind of like this kind of game. But another really good running gun game, which is more Contra-esque in my opinion than this, in the simple fact of it, you die easier. It's a lot more fucking difficult in that sense, is Broforce.
I didn't get on with Broforce, to be honest. And I also don't think it's Contra-esque, because I think the procedural generation of that game, to me, really puts me off and
is it procedural generated? I didn't know that.
I believe it is procedurally generated, yes.
Oh, I didn't know. I played through it with Jasm,
and
Matt,
which just means that the level design.
So like,
cool. Yeah, and also I was playing a one player, right? So I think that's also why I wasn't necessarily enjoying it as much, because I think Broforce will both of these games are designed to be played co-op, and I think Shooters, Blood and Teef is a much better single player experience than Broforce, because I think the procedural generation just means that the level design is shit, because you can't for obvious reasons, and it just felt, it wasn't what I was after. I wanted a Contra out of it with a cool with the lineup it was offering me, and it felt more like a Super Meat Boy with guns or something, but procedurally generated. It just felt a bit too jumpy and fly all over the place, and it didn't feel like Contra at all, because
I disagree. And also, Super Meat Boy was fucking awesome as well.
Yeah, it was. But I don't go to Super Meat Boy when I want to play Contra,
No, that's fair. I wouldn't know what I would go to if I wanted to play Super Meat Boy other than Super Meat Boy. It's like, I would think, ooh, let's play Super Mario Brothers, and then go on that. I've never played Celeste.
Well, there you go. We could maybe go there. It's not as twitchy as Super Meat Boy, but it is a very good platform. You should give that a go, Pedz.
Yeah, maybe. There's too many games, man.
There are. What's on your radar? What do you want to get to?
No.
Okay, cool.
Honestly,
I've got
no. Oh, it's the
I've
crab
got something.
game.
A crab's tail. Sorry, not a crab's tail. It's another crab's treasure. It's actually really good. I think it's about an 8 out of 10, but it's a really enjoyable 8 out of 10. I think it has some really interesting ideas. The fact the shell swapping mechanic is really cool. It basically means that your armor is a disposable item and you're swapping around it a lot, and each armor set has a different ability, which is a really nice contrast to Dark Souls, where you tend to just pick an armor and that's you for the whole game. I hope you like looking at this armor set, boys, because that's what you're seeing. It does wear its Souls likeness on its sleeve.
Yeah.
And mentions of and will actually point out when things are different. When you unlock the riposte after a parry, it specifically tells you do not have iframes. You will get knocked out of this, which made me laugh because it's just it's funny that Dark Souls' decisions on these things have become so normalized that you have to point out when you do differently. And I was thinking that, you know, if this crab game was the first one of these types of games, they wouldn't say that because you would just figure it out yourself. I think it has a nice skill system. It has a nice power creep. The exploration is fun. The parrying is really engaging. In every other game, they press the button just as you get hit to parry. This one's let go of the button just before you get hit to parry, which I don't know why. For some reason, it is just so much more engaging when the let go of and it's a shoulder button you're pressing, so you're like letting go of that, and as you like move your finger up, the little crab goes like ha and like parries, and it just feels like much more like much less dissonance between what you're doing and what the guy in the game is doing. And it's cool. The bosses are the fun, the areas are good, the story is, or rather the writing is humorous enough. It wouldn't win any awards from me, but some people are enjoying all the sea-based puns. I'm looking forward to getting back to more of it, to be honest. Yeah. Like Sweet. When you, I mean, you saw me playing it the other day when you came in and was like, do you want to try and shoot as one Teef? And I was like, I want to play this. Really? And also I'm looking forward to getting to Jedi Survivor, which launched on Game Pass the same day as Another Crab's Treasure. And that was the game I wanted to play. And I was like, you know what, let's just check out this crab game just to see what it's like. And then I'll get straight onto Star Wars. And the crab game just crabbed me. It just absolutely crabbed me. And I couldn't stop playing it.
You crabbed her. I'm in no rush to play Jedi Survivor simply because I never finished Fallen Order or whatever it's called, because I just got bored. Which is terrible, but I'm like that sometimes. But I was kind of enjoying it, but then I was like...
It's not terrible at all, Pedz. It's not terrible at all. Like, you are allowed to get bored of media, and I would encourage you to not continue on in things you're getting bored of. Because, and by all accounts, if you got bored of Jedi... I was about to say Jedi Outcast. I can't even remember what it is now. The previous one by Respawn, if you're bored of that, by all accounts, I don't think this one will win you over. So
yeah. The thing
is, get straight to that.
The thing is I fucking love Titanfall 2. Why didn't they just make another Titanfall?
Well, because Apex Legends prints money, and Titanfall 2 did not.
But they could go Titanfall 3 in the Apex Legends universe. People will buy it then.
Well, actually, Apex Legends is set in the Titanfall universe
Yeah, I
already.
know, but they could do that. They could put that on the
Okay,
on the
From
cover
the
of it,
makers
like
of Apex. Yeah, fine, yeah.
yeah. Exactly.
But you've also got to, like, if you're the business guy and you need to make money, do you commission that, or do you get everyone just carrying on with Apex stuff and making more money? Unfortunately,
There's got to be
It's,
some love put into your games, man.
well, yes, yeah, but we live in a capitalist society, Pedz. Shareholders, can you please think of the shareholders? Oh, and then finally, I was gifted a game by old friend of the forum, Schminky Pinky, and he gifted me Ghosts of Tsushima on Steam. So that comes out next month, and I'm really looking forward to getting into that because I've been
Schminky
watching
Pinky. I
Shogun.
haven't seen Schminky Pinky for years.
Well, yeah, I haven't either, and I really wanted to catch up with him. So I think I was drunk or high one night, and I just gifted him Helldivers 2, so he'd play with me. And we had a little catch up, and then I think he felt guilty, so he gifted me Ghost of Tsushima. So that means he's $20 up on me, and now I owe him.
Oh, that's not good.
Maybe I should just send him Shootas, Blood and Teeth, and then we're even. And actually, it is on his wish list here. He's the only friend that has this on his wish list.
That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and yeah, thank you very much for gifting it to me, by the way, Pedz. This was a cool thing that I would never have checked out otherwise.
No worries, man. No worries at all. I thought it's something I've been wanting to play for a while. But the thing is, right, is that I didn't really like look into any reviews or I never do anyway. I see something, I'll give it a try, and then I'll get her and play. But with this, I got it because I saw something. It's like, oh yeah, this Shootas Blood and Teeth. Shootas Blood and Teeth is a fun Metroidvania. I thought, a 40K orc Metroidvania. And I played the first level. I was like, this is a fucking Metroidvania. What the fuck?
He's calling it a Metroidvania.
Some crazy person.
The problem is, right, I had a debate recently that our gaming genre names are a bit silly and we should change them. And so you shouldn't, because like if you were trying to describe a Metroidvania to someone that doesn't play games, Metroidvania, what on earth does that mean? And I'm hearing search action games be the term that should be changed to. And again, roguelite as in like a run-based.
Well, I've regularly called Metroidvanias backtracking adventures because you spend a lot of time backtracking.
Yeah. That works too. Backtracking adventures.
I think I've actually reviewed games and said this Metroidvania, or as I call them, backtracking adventures, and then carried on my review because that's what you do.
I think I also like search action though, because I feel like that's quite like it's an actiony game. You're searching around. It's a nice descriptor. Whereas, you could like is Zelda a Metroidvania? Possibly. Well, that's kind of backtrack.
It is. To be fair, it is in a lot of ways. It's to progress in Zelda or Metroid. You have to do the same thing. You have to beat bosses, get a new item, and then you go move to the next area. Both of them are exactly the same.
Yeah, when I first came to Metroid, I came to them a bit later in life. Metroid Fusion was my first one. I didn't have a Super Nintendo or an NES. Actually, I tell a lie. I borrowed Metroid 2 on the Game Boy from someone as a kid, and I was like, "What the fuck is this? I don't get it."
Yeah, I think that's more linear as well.
Yeah, but Metroid Fusion I came to, and I was like, "Oh, it's just side-scrolling Zelda."
Yeah, it's Adventure Link, but good. As I've the very first podcast I did, but this podcast, the first game, was a game called Infernax. Both me and Cumberdines were talking about it, and we both said as if Castlevania 2, Adventure of Link, had a baby, this came out of them, and like the parents, it was good.
Okay. Nice.
It's like a really good version of like Castlevania 2 or Adventure of Link. Infernax.
Yeah, there was something to Adventure of Link. I didn't play that until I got was it the bonus disc game that came with Wind Waker? Or possibly, Yeah, or actually, no, it might have been the Zelda disc that came with the Mario Kart GameCube bundle, actually. And I think and I think it had Zelda Majora's Mask and Zelda 1 and 2 on it. And that was the first time I played Zelda 2, and I was like, there's something to it. By the way, that was the only way you could get that game, was in the bundle, but my local indie game shop illegally just opened it and sold it to me for 40 quid. So
nice. Oh, I miss the days when you could turn up to a game store several days before the game was coming out and go, can I have a game, please?
Yeah.
Right,
and it was the only way they could get up on like game. If you had a game in your high street, then the indie shop was probably slightly more expensive than it, but they would break street date.
Yeah, I remember going to one which was like not far away from game, like I say, I don't know,
Same.
10 shops away. And I was like, oh, can I have Smash Brothers Melee, please? Or Smash Brothers Brawl, whichever one. And it was like 3 days before we released it. And like, yeah, all right, done. Thank you.
Yep.
Fuck you, game.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it might have been a Game Station at the time. Oh. Yeah. Remember Game Station? Before Game bought them?
Only vaguely. There wasn't really one in my town.
Fair enough. But I think that's going to be us now. We've been going for 15 minutes approximately. Is there anything else you would like to say? Oh, one question. Have you got an Xbox 360?
Do I have an Xbox 360? No, not anymore, though I have access to 360 games via xCloud.
Right. This is not backwards compatible, so I don't think it'd be on xCloud. I want you to purchase an Xbox 360.
Okay.
Connect it up to your capture card.
Mm-hmm.
Purchase Sonic 06. Put that on your Xbox and stream it.
Okay. Was it only a 360 game? Yeah.
PlayStation 3 as well.
PS3. Maybe
which I think it runs worse on PS3.
I would like to play. Is it not on Steam?
No, never. It's not on PC. There is a fan remake in the works, so maybe that'll happen. Maybe. Seriously, play Sonic 06. You'll love every game after you play.
I'm looking on xCloud to see if it's on here.
Doubt it. Sega are not that cruel, man. They're like, oh, we made this mistake once, we're not doing it again.
Yeah, alas, alay.
360 should be cheap enough for you to pick up in the US. Go to a flea market or whatever.
Yeah, I would definitely get straight the fuck on that, Pedz. You worry about it. The second this recording stops, I'm out. There's actually no Sonic games on xCloud. Wow.
Oh, that is surprising. Any final thoughts on Shootas, Blood and Teef?
No, not really. I think I've said everything I want to say. I'll probably give it an 8 out of 10. I think it does what it sets out to do quite well.
Yeah.
Far away. Maybe, yeah. I think 7 feels harsh, 8 feels generous. Somewhere around there.
7.5.
Yeah, but then we may as well call it like,
to be fair
15 out of 20 at that point.
You could in theory you could give it an 8, right? And you could feel it's too generous. But you could give it a 7, and that could be even more generous, because sometimes a 7 is better than an 8.
Very true. Lest us forget.
I miss HSH.
Yeah. But no, nothing else from me, Pedz. Thank you again very much for having me on. And,
no worries. Thank you for taking part.
Yeah. And I'll catch you soon.
Yeah. Catch you later, man. Have a good one, dude.
Bye.
Bye.